Okay, this is a Codealia pairing session. What I wanted to get accomplished first of all today was to address this workshop 1 content. Because over the weekend Brian and I pushed a lot of code to production. Okay, great. And there's a problem with, well, it's not really a problem, but if you click on Workshop 1 in the nav bar here, it takes you to the Workshop 1 skeleton code, which is in a text field, and then there's a link to the code playground. What I wanted to happen there was for the student to just copy that code into the clipboard and then paste it into the editor so that they could see the preview. At the moment there are no instructions for that, so that's just an easy update.
So you're answering my questions because we were doing the adjustment test and that involved the preview and the editor, but the whole GUI is completely messed up because you don't know where to go.
Yeah.
In other words, you don't have a preview and you don't have an editor, so how can you make sense out of the test?
All right. Well, the editor is still a work in progress. I mean, this one, the code playground that I'm using in this workshop is now obsolete. We're not going to be going with this style of editor with the 2 panes. What we're going to have is a pop-up editor in the corner that edits small chunks of code, and the rest of the page is the preview.
So would that be this? Let me share the screen, okay?
Okay.
Because one thing that I find very useful for testing is when I go to the browser and I see the functionality that I want to test.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So I look at preview editor and then the whole test makes sense. Otherwise, you're just testing, you know, a concept that you don't even understand.
Right. That's
I mean, it does not make any sense. So let me show you what I have. Okay. Can you see my screen, Pete?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
All right. So this is the window that you're talking about now?
Yeah, that's the new editor.
All right. So this editor allows you to, if I do this, hello, Pete, I can see it in here, right? Hello, Pete.
Yeah.
Right. So this is the editor, but this was workshop 2 part 2, which was not in the browser, and part 1
Yeah, part 1 is the one that's been pushed through to the production site, workshop 1. Workshop 2 is at the moment not fully operational because it needs some more work on the IDE.
Okay, so workshop 2 is here. Do you see it?
Yep. So this is on Brian's spike.
Okay. So we're not doing anything with this?
Yeah, we've got in the tracker, we've got a few stories to do with the IDE.
So workshop 2,
So the things in the backlog are basic login for instructors, integrating lesson plan document into the static site contents, and establishing passion module goals.
Right.
And then for the IDE, we want to make that IDE, the editor window that you've got there, collapsible so that you can disappear and view the preview in a full screen.
I'm trying to determine what in this Passions Workshop 2, which is part 1, right? Is that correct?
Part 1, yeah.
All right. This is the editor or the preview?
Yeah, right. This is why we haven't pushed Workshop 2 to production, because it's broken. That editor doesn't do anything right now in that page.
All right, so
because it hasn't been attached to a piece of source code that you can edit.
Correct. So Workshop 2, Part 1, not working. Okay. Correct. So Workshop 2, Part 2 is this one that is working, right?
Is that one, and that's the one where you should be able to put the user ID from Instagram into that data user attribute in the settings.
Okay. And if I do this and I put like that,
yeah.
How do you save this?
There is once you edit it, the page refreshes. But right now that's not going to make any difference because the functionality is not there yet.
Okay. All right. Because then I go to we had this test.
Yeah.
Can you see my Groovy Mind?
Yeah, so this is the Jasmine for the editor.
Correct.
I've not looked at this yet.
For the container controller that contains the directives for Angular.
Yeah.
So what we were testing here, and I get some help from John. So in line, I'm on the test, so the spec file on the left.
Yep.
Okay, so 32. Let's start with 24. Without a preview, is that referring to this?
I don't know what those tests are referring to.
Okay.
It's been Brian that's been working on this.
Okay. All right.
Not me.
I'll check with him, because then I could understand the preview, but if the editor is not somewhat functional, where are we testing?
Yeah.
And then describe with a preview and editor defined. So that would mean that Workshop 2, Part 1 and Part 2 should be working.
Because, yeah, they both have a preview and an editor.
Right. And I don't even know if you can test both of these conditions in Jasmine at once.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
All right. Okay. All right. You're making, by showing me that, you're just making more sense for me. Okay. Cool.
Because we're just at the moment the editor that we've got on Workshop 2 is still very early in development. It's really a spike.
Okay. When you say workshop 2, you're referring to part 2 or?
Workshop 2, part 1 and 2. They're both using the same editor.
So workshop 2, part 1 is the Instagram, and part 2 is this
The
whatever
page
you call it.
uses the Instagram content. Yeah.
Okay.
So the background picture that you can see at the top and the 3 pictures at the bottom are actually the Instagram feed that I've set up for Codealia.
Okay, so in workshop 2, part 1, you set up the Instagram, right? And then in 2, explain the relationship between the two in workshop 2.
In workshop 2, part 1, the idea is that you go and find a Instagram user and type in their username into the text box.
Okay.
And the page gives you back their Instagram unique ID.
Correct.
And then you write down that ID number or copy it to the clipboard.
Yes.
And paste it into part 2 so that you can see that you're getting a real live Instagram feed into the page, and that has a wow factor. And then you get to make a few other changes to the page based on the content that you've been able to pull in from Instagram. So you can change the headings and some of the text.
Okay.
But they should be more tightly integrated with the editor. Right now it's not. The editor's just been dropped in there as it is, and it's in part 1. It's not associated with anything on the page, and in part 2.
In other words, this is just broken. It just doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
All right. But this is part of the Angular directive that Brian was working on, I guess, right?
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
There will be multiple directives on the page so that you can have an editor that changes the heading, an editor that changes the body text, and maybe another editor that you can use to change the settings.
Okay. You make so much sense sometimes, Pete.
Well, I try. I try to make sense, but the stories that
because with the functionality, here I am. I'm beginning on step 10, and I don't even understand step 1 because nobody told me about it. So it's like it's just like
yeah. No, that's why I'm here to unblock you.
Yeah, because it's like testing on things that you don't understand is such a pain,
And testing something that's not actually working yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Exercise in futility.
Dude, no, it's just false positives everywhere. Anyway,
so yeah, we have some stories in the backlog on the Codealia tracker, which I
go to. Go ahead.
Right now, I've got a story started, which is create content for a 90-minute workshop, and this is an ongoing one. Right now, I just need to do those instructions for what to do in workshop 1 with the sample code that's presented.
Okay.
And then there's the stories in the backlog, basic login, passion module.
Do you want to drop something for me that I could work on my spare time?
Yeah. Well, pick anything that you like. I mean,
something rather simple.
There's a chore here that's pretty self-explanatory. When we were working on the workshops 1 and 2, we were working individually, so we ended up with 2 CSS files that should apply to all the workshops.
Okay.
One is in public customs.css, which is Thomas's, and the other is in public style sheets workshop.css, which is mine.
Okay.
And we want to combine those into a single file.
Okay.
So that should be a very simple pull request.
Okay, just drop it for me, please.
Okay. I don't see you here, Marcelo. Are you on the?
I may not have been added to the Codealia.
There we go. Invite sent.
Oh, I see. It's coming to another.
Okay. You're started on that. But right now, I want to get onto the right branch. I don't want to commit it on this branch.
KP.
Yep.
I had to kill my session because I need to, as you can see, I'm logged in with another Gmail account, so that's the reason why you don't see my usual avatar.
Okay.
But I am, I already accepted, so it should be, there you go, I'm there.
Cool.
Let me go a little bit away from Codealia for 1 second. What do you have in mind to automate that a spreadsheet to enter the times?
Yeah, I've been thinking about that for ages, and I think Git keeps a log of every commit that you make. And
you mean GitHub?
In GitHub, you can get access to that, or in raw Git, if you have an application that you give access to your local repo, then potentially it could read your Git history from there. But it'd probably be easier to do from GitHub. So everything that you've pushed up to GitHub, it will know what time you were working on it and who you were pairing with if you were doing ping pong.
Correct, correct. If you're doing ping pong.
Yeah.
Okay,
so it would have the time that you started, because you would have made
correct
a pull to get the latest copy of the code of the branch that you're working on.
Yeah, yeah, pull and push if you're ping ponging. Yeah, okay.
And then it would have the time that you finished working, because you made your last commit and then didn't do anything after that.
Correct.
So
however, in indexing we work a lot, and we were just in the same. Well, that was a specific,
a special case for indexing.
A special case, yes.
This would only work if you were actually doing coding in ping pong.
Yes, which is what Sam actually wants.
Which is most of our stuff, yeah.
Right.
There was some way, because at the moment it's tricky, you don't get the YouTube link until you finish the pair programming session and YouTube has processed the video and put it up. So right now I put into the spreadsheet, I put the time that I finished, then close off the spreadsheet, and I have to come back maybe the next day, go through John's video feeds in his page on Agile Ventures, find the one that I was working on, which will have a different time because his videos are posted in his local time zone.
Correct.
And I'm wondering if there's some way to automate that, because it's just such a crazy amount of admin to do. You mean you're doing 10 minutes of browsing through videos to try and find your own voice to make sure that's the one you were pair programming in, to add it to the spreadsheet. But GitHub and YouTube would potentially cover everything that Sam needs to verify that we've been pairing on a story, and if Pivotal Tracker could be integrated as well, then that would be nice to have.
How would you introduce Pivotal Tracker? For what purpose Pivotal Tracker would be useful?
Because at the moment in local support, we're only getting paid to work on the
volunteer apps.
Volunteer epic. So you would have to have checked out a story or be pairing on a story that is in the volunteer epic. And it would be nice to have that associated with the branch that you're working on.
Correct. I got you. Yeah. Okay. All right. But the thing is the interesting thing would be, does the YouTube API provide a way for you to say, well, in this video, let's suppose that I want to find my own voice in a video.
Yep.
Right. So I don't have to go like I'm doing right now, just going like minute by minute. Oh, there I am, and then find when I drop. Is there a way for us to find that out via the API?
And I think it's going to be difficult because the avatars don't show up in the stream of a Google Hangout. Otherwise, you could just do an image recognition on your avatar.
Right, but the avatars, depending on who is talking and who is working on the screen.
Yeah, if you're screen sharing, you don't see the avatar at all, and
well, you do see it sometimes. Like I could see the avatar in our indexing pairing with you and Jeff and Thomas.
In the session, but not in the video afterwards. The avatars on the bottom of the screen don't get captured by YouTube.
Oh, what?
So
I see.
If I'm not sharing my screen and the video is switching between whichever user is talking, then the avatar shows up in the middle of the screen with the circles coming out when I'm with my voice, my volume units. But otherwise, you don't see the avatar at all.
Normally you don't, but I was able to see mine in the videos.
Well, maybe there's a way that we can use that. The other way would to tag the video with the name.
I want say that again.
You could tag the video, like at the moment we tag the video with Codealia Lulu pairing, and that's the way Website 1 pulls in those videos into the Codealia project. So when somebody starts a Hangout, they could put the names or the usernames of everybody who intends to pair with them in that Hangout.
Yeah,
and
but sometimes
we can extract the user. But yeah, sometimes you just join halfway through.
Exactly.
And I don't think there's any way to edit the title.
Anyway, sometimes I see that when I go through a video, I can see the avatars in the video. Not always. Most of the time are not there, but
I think if you have the screen share on your screen like this, and you can get the infinite regress.
I'm looking at one of them because I'm finally doing the invoice for the indexing. Yeah, I'm way behind.
So that's a long time ago those videos were published.
Yeah. So, but I do see at times while I'm watching the video, I can see the avatars on the lower right-hand side. But then somebody switches to the screen share and it's gone.
Yeah.
So
it's not the most reliable way of establishing who's in the Hangout.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not sure if there's any API which stores that information from between Google Plus and YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, do you have a feature for that open or?
This would be a separate project.
Oh, okay.
Or it could be a part of Website 1.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe we can revisit this at a later time because I think it's a very interesting.
Well, I think this should be a service of its own that any project should be able to use if they want to pay their developers for open source pairing.
Exactly.
So there's definitely a case for making it a standalone project.
So GitHub, Pivotal Tracker, and YouTube.
Based time billing, yeah. Excuse me again, myself.
Real-time live billing, yes.
Okay, Marcelo, I'm going to have to go for about 10 minutes.
All right. I'm working on my. Do you want to leave it open and come back, or?
Yeah, I'll leave this open, and I'm going to do that update to the website when I get back. Okay, see you in 10. Okay, I'm back. Just had to run out to drop the girls off at sports practice and do some recycling. So I'm on the develop branch.
Hi, Pete.
Also, I've updated from upstream. I'm going to check out a new branch. Workshop 1 instructions. Workshop 1 JS. No, that's nothing to do with me. Well, that should be renamed really. I'm in app views static pages. No, Fuse Learning Workshop 1 intro.
See what Paul is trying to do in auto graders is no matter what you do, you always have to be fiddling with Travis to, you know, with the Rails with the gem dependencies.
Because Travis's environment is not the same as the one set up in Vagrant.
Huh?
Is that because Travis's environment is not the one that's set up in Vagrant?
Exactly. Exactly.
Let's see.
But before we get to Vagrant, one time we got everything going, but we needed to make you know how you pre-configure Travis to install certain things? We had to in the script before running Travis, we have to add some things in there. Anyway, so we are in workshop.
Yeah, this is the intro file for Workshop 1. Lines 22 to 24 are the text area. Line 23 renders a partial, which is my Workshop 1 scaffold. It's just a sample code without.
So this is Workshop 1. Workshop 1. Part what? Part there is no part in Workshop 1, or
Workshop 1 is just one part, yeah.
okay.
So I have this
if I go to the browser, I can see it. Oh, okay. This is what I get.
You're not sharing the screen.
Oops. That's what I get.
Yeah, that's what you get. So I'm just editing the second half of that page to give the students some instructions on what to do. And in fact, there should be a link below that text box. There is on production. If you go to codealia.org instead of Brian's Heroku.
Got it. Workshop 1?
Yep.
Okay, Code Playground?
Yeah, that's the link. And that's where you need to paste all of that into the editor.
Sorry, Pete.
Yeah.
Can you share the screen?
I'm sharing my screen. Can you not see it?
We're having problems with the connection, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's it dropped the connection for me.
Yeah, you went quiet for a minute there.
Okay.
Let me try refreshing.
No, it's back.
Okay. So yeah, I'm just adding these instructions to highlight all the code and paste it into the edit pane, which is on the left.
So give me the flow in here, the workflow in here. So I'm in Passions Workshop 1.
Yeah.
And I have these resources here.
Yeah, I'm changing resources, the resources heading to instructions.
Okay. And then what do I do with the Code Playground?
You need to paste. First, you need to copy all of the text in the text area.
Okay, so I copy
all
all
of the
this.
HTML code
Okay.
to the clipboard, and then paste it into the Code Playground.
Oh, okay. In here, like so.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then you can edit that text, change the headings, change the paragraphs. You can even change the sizes of the cat pictures using the two variables on the end of the URL, the placeKitten URL.
Okay. And CSS and JS are not enabled yet?
They're not enabled yet, no. Those buttons do nothing.
Okay, cool. So I could change this to, let's say, 200.
I mean, this is very rough.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, we wanted to get something up on the Codealia site as a proof of concept.
Are you doing some testing with your girls, or?
Yeah, I have. I've been trying some of this out on them. I've also been doing some other online coding stuff for kids, just to see what works, what they enjoy the most.
Do they like the whole thing, or?
Yeah, they're really getting into programming. In fact, they were showing their grandmother how to program a robot in one of the code.org games on their grandmother's iPad.
Cool, cool. How old are your girls?
They're 7.
Oh, okay. Are they twins, or?
Yeah. Okay, let's see if that makes sense. I've got this server. I need the database server running for Postgres. And now I'll load the page. I get Google. Try again.
Why do you get Google?
Why do I get Google? Oh no, it's starting. It should load in a minute. Okay, I get the Codealia homepage. Now we get to workshop 1. Your first site. In the passion part of the curriculum, we focus mainly on experiencing the possibilities of web applications and getting the kids acquainted with pair programming, presentation skills, etc. In website 1, we want, that needs completion. So the setup in workshop 1 takes 90 minutes, needs 2 instructors, and needs students in 4 to 10 pairs. Instructions. Highlight all the code in the text box below and copy it to the clipboard.
Highlight needs the spelling is not right. I know.
Oh yeah, that's true. So you can highlight by dragging across all of the text, or Control A and then copy. When you have that code copied, click on the link below and paste it into the editor pane on the left. You will see a preview in the pane on the right. I wish I could have those instructions on this page, but I'm not sure that's possible right now.
What did you say?
So I wish I could have the second set of instructions down here on the page where you're actually going to be doing the activity. We'll commit this now and see if that's possible.
You broke down your voice just went RoboCop, so I don't know what you said.
So the second set of instructions, click on the link below and paste it into the editor pane. And now you can edit the HTML. That should really be on the second part.
On the second part.
In the code playground. So I need to put some content on this page somehow.
So
I didn't want to do that before because this was a general application for any lesson. But now we're not going to be using this editor anymore. I might as well just dedicate it to this content. Highlight. Is that how you spell highlight? 2 words? Hyphenated?
So you can change the code to the other page, right?
Yeah, I think I have to put some content onto the other page. Highlight. One word. I'm going to make a commit with this. And basic instructions. And now let's open up the Code Playground page.
So did you move it?
In static pages, Code Playground. So here we have a div with the editor, and we have an iframe with the page preview. If I put another row underneath those,
Yep, exactly. Would that be the show page or what?
this is just a static page.
Oh, okay.
So it's a static page which loads the single page application for the IDE, which is the Angular stuff.
Okay.
So I'm going to make this a column extra small, 12, just full width, and put in that. These instructions here.
Right.
So
that is line 25 is part of the bootstrap.
Yeah.
When you just tell them what kind of class do you want in the div.
It's using Bootstrap's built-in grid system.
Okay. Yes.
So,
all right. The XS, what is it?
That's telling it.
Oh, extra small, right?
Extra small, yeah. You get extra small, small, which is SM.
Okay.
And then you get medium and large.
Okay.
It targets different device widths. So I could make this have the editor pane above the preview pane in very small devices by giving it a column of 12, width of 12.
Okay.
But at the moment I want them always side by side. Do I have an H1 tag in the scaffold? Yes. Okay, I'm going to go again. It's time to pick up the girls, but I'm going to commit what I've got so far.
What branch are you in?
This is a branch called website Workshop 1 Instructions, WS1 Instructions.
Okay.
I'm going to push that in a moment.
Are you going to come back later, or?
Yeah.
All right. But do you want to close the Hangout? Is that for now?
No, I'll leave it open because I'll only be 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. All right.
If you want to take over driving while I'm gone, then feel free to pull this branch from my GitHub.
Again, what was it, the branch name?
I haven't pushed it yet, but it's WS1 instructions. I'll make this a bit bigger so you can see. Okay. Test that out for me and see if the text looks okay the way I put it, and I'll be back in 5.
All right.
Okay, I'm back. Looks like Marcelo is gone. Let me refresh this page. Yes. What is with the alignment of this preview pane? The iframe has some margins that it doesn't want. Where is it getting those margins? In CodePlayground.css. Page preview, margin 0. Better. It's also breaking out of its row and overflowing a little. It is contained inside its column. The iframe is not. Because of the left and right margin. And get rid of those too. There we go, that's better. Now you can see everything on the page. Now these instructions would probably be better formatted as an ordered list. I've got a new theme here, and everything, all the UI is different. That's part of the job. Anyway. I have a feeling that we could just do away with these nav buttons. Yeah, that simplifies the page and avoids some confusion. But let's make a separate commit with that. And just check everything still works. Yep, lovely. Okay, that's it from me for now.